Welcome aboard the SS Evolution. This is your captain speaking. We're pleased to have all of you here for the Darwin Experience cruise. Although we would normally run through safety procedures on this cruise liner, ain't nobody got time for that. So without further ado, we will be showing you an overview of your journey in the footsteps of Charles Darwin as we travel to our first stop, the Galapagos Islands.
Charles Darwin was born during the Industrial Revolution on February 12, 1809, in Shrewsbury, England, to his father Robert Darwin and his mother Susanna Darwin. Young Charles was always fascinated by nature and would often collect specimens from the wild and bring them home. Darwin's father, also known as the Doctor, wanted young Darwin to follow in his footsteps and become a physician. Darwin went to medical school in Edinburgh, but he absolutely did not want to become a doctor. He was terrified at the sight of blood. Darwin dropped out of med school without a degree. The doctor wanted Darwin to do something respectable, so his next best option was send Darwin to a Church of England school so he can study theology. Darwin did well in school, but he wasn't passionate about pursuing theology. Oftentimes, Darwin was seen talking to Reverend John Stevens Henslow, who became Darwin's role model of the ordained naturalist. Henslow sent Darwin an invitation to voyage around the world. Darwin would accompany Captain Robert Fitzroy on the HMS Beagle as a naturalist. On December 27, 1831, 22-year-old Charles Darwin set out for the Canary Islands and South America on the HMS Beagle. During the trip, Darwin collected hundreds of specimens and sent them all back to England.
4 years into the voyage, Darwin arrived in the Galapagos archipelago. On one of the islands, Darwin collected all of the plants and animals that he could. He wanted to figure out whether the plants on these islands were the same as those in South America or native to this island. During the trip, Darwin was getting a lot of attention in England because of all the specimens he had been sending. When he returned, the experts were examining his collections closely. Darwin came up with an idea to explain the observations he made in the Galapagos, and he called this theory descent with modification. He knew this idea challenged creation-based explanations for life, but he was afraid to go against the common belief at the time. Nonetheless, Darwin continued to work on his theory. In 1859, Darwin published one of the greatest and most controversial biological documents to this day, on the origin of species.
There is a simple grandeur in the view of life, with its powers of growth, assimilation, and reproduction, being originally breathed into matter under one of few forms, and that whilst this our planet has gone circling on according to fixed laws, and land and water, in the cycle of change, have gone on replacing each other, that from so simple an origin, through the process of gradual selection, of infinitesimal changes, endless forms most beautiful and most wonderful have been evolved.